How do our thoughts create our reality? So we're diving into this universal Kundalini energetic psychological concept of how does what we believe to be true about ourselves define who we are and how we perceive the world. And even going into like education, into even the classroom, even in school, our perception of what we are capable of determines what we will accomplish. So let's start here at this base level, like just being in school, for example, a math class, and believing I'm a math person, I'm not a math person. And how does this define our reality? How does this predict how successful we will be? Well, if we believe that we are a person capable of doing math, we will find a way to be able to do that. We'll find the skills that we need, we'll find the help that we need, and we will build ourselves up to that level. If we believe we're not, we won't make the effort to do it. So how does this define our reality on a grander scale? We'll look at a couple more examples in non-education related basis, in the world, in Kundalini, in the workplace, in anywhere where our reality is defined by how we perceive it. So how we perceive the world in what is possible. How we perceive, I'm a language learner, I'm a person who can learn the language, or I'm a person who can't. I'm a person who can learn Spanish, I'm a person who can't. I can be either one of these people. I was at one point in a fork in the road when I had to decide, am I going to become bilingual or stay monolingual? And I chose to become bilingual. And it's not that the person who chooses this avenue is any more or less able to achieve that than the person who doesn't. There are other factors at play here, like, let's say, a desire to do it. Is this something I need for my life? And even, is this something that I believe is possible for me? Because for a lot of people, and myself included at many times, there's this layer, it's like this haze of, is this something that I can achieve? Like, oh, can I actually learn another language? Can I actually become bilingual? And we have to push through that. Like when I was learning karate, like, oh, I failed my first big test, my brown belt test. Can I actually do this? And then there's that piece that kicks in that I'm going to do this. I'm going to find a way to do this because I know that I can be successful. I know that I can do this if I just work hard enough and find a way to make it happen. Because I know that that is possible for me within my reality. That is possible for me to become a black belt in karate. Like, that is possible even though I started at white, even though I couldn't do anything in martial arts, no flexibility, no push-ups, no nothing, even though I started as monolingual, no second language, no language experience, nothing in remedial classes in college of English. Like, it's that perspective of what is possible for me. What do I claim to be possible for me? And that's another piece here, because we don't know what we don't know and what we can't see. We have a perception of what exists around us based on our upbringing, based on our family, our society, based on what we know to be true about life. Well, that's only one perspective. That's a perception of reality. And now, when we grasp this concept of all that I know to be true is only one perception, one reality, there are infinitely more out there. Our minds are expanded, and we're expanded into not knowing all these other realities and all these things, because we'll never know them all, and there will always be more that we don't know than there is that we do know. And for me, that was like a big thing. Like, there's always going to be more that I don't know than there is that I do know, as long as I live. And that's like, it's a big thing to step into. And so where this leads us and how our thoughts, that was an odd noise, I'm just firing something up, okay, how our thoughts define our reality is that when we think, okay, my reality is I live, I get up every day, I go to school or go to work, I take care of my family, I do things I have to do, this is my reality. Say, okay, this is my reality. We can get up and we can do that until we die. Or we can say, my reality is that I am an entrepreneur, that I am a business owner, that I am an artist, that I am a creator, that I am a writer, I am a singer, I am anything you can claim to be true. Like, the people who have these things, our artists, our actors, our business owners, our doctors, or like anyone who achieves something at a high level, our like top martial artists, anyone who does that, those are normal people in the sense of they started like you or I did coming into the world. Bueno, here's the Spanish just coming out. Some people have more or less opportunities, like some people have fewer opportunities available to them to help them rise to this. And for myself, I have a lot of opportunities and a lot of support, a lot of pieces that allow me to live the life that I do, that work to my advantage, and I recognize those and I'm grateful for those. And other people don't have those. Some people just don't have those. Some people come from backgrounds where they don't have, their family is not as well off. They don't have access to education. They don't have access to the resources that they need to rise to this level as easily. In the US, though, it's a cool thing, like amazing thing, that basically, if you work hard enough, you can achieve pretty much anything you desire to achieve here. And again, I have a lot of privileges that help me on my way to my personal goals, but our perceptions of reality still affect this. And going back to like how our thoughts define our reality, so a person who believes that, say they grow up in a family and they believe that, okay, I'm going to grow up, I'm going to be just like my parents. My parents work and they pay the bills, they take care of us, I love them, but we work all the time and we get by. I'm going to be like this because this is what my family does. Okay. And then there's another person who says, okay, this is the way that my life is right now, I desire more. And my grandpa was this way, and this is why I have a lot of the opportunities that I have right now. My grandpa came from very, very poor background. He didn't have a lot. And what I really have learned from him is that as far as getting to a place where you want to be, is that it's not about two things. It's not about how much money you make, it's about how much you keep. And two, you can be the hammer or the nail. So the hammer or the nail. And these are two things my dad has said to me, and it's like, okay. And like, yeah, well, extreme in some instances, but the lesson here in like understanding what's possible for you is, okay, anything is possible for me. So that first example was possible for me, and the life that I desire to live. And also, for someone who doesn't make as much money and they're like, okay, I want to achieve these things, but how do I do it? Well, I have pretty much always lived my life very frugally, and because I've realized that, okay, I can work and I can achieve things like being able to go to college, being able to study abroad, being able to do these things if I just cut, like track all my expenses and make money and just save and just don't spend like anything. That's that sacrifices. And for me, it was an extreme, like I worked all the time, I went to school all the time, I went to school full time, I did 3 jobs, I did all of this, and had family support. And that is what it takes to get up to that level sometimes. But beyond that, the most important piece there is the belief that I can do this. Because if I didn't believe I could do it, I wouldn't have looked for ways to do it. And that's how my thoughts define my reality. This is possible for me. I'm going to find a way. And 2, there's a 2 here, is finding that way and then doing it, like having the discipline, the desire to do it, and that structure of understanding how those pieces work. What do I want? What do I need? How can I make these things happen? What is available to me? What resources do I have? How can I pull these? How can I commit to this is what I want because this is possible for me? And how can I work toward it and make slow and steady progress toward what I desire? Okay? And then there's that other piece, the hammer or the nail piece. Okay, so what this means is basically you can be the person in charge or you can be the person who takes orders. So you can be essentially like a manager in work, or even above that, you can be the business owner. But even then, there's levels above you. Like, there's always something above you. No matter where you go, like, there's always something above you. And that's something I've learned more and more and more. There's a bug, beetle, something. But there's always someone above you. But here's the point, is that there's a person in charge, and then there's the person who follows the orders. So there is, whether it's a manager and then the employees, whether that is the business owner and then the managers, there is, and then, you get up there, you get to, you're an entrepreneur, you're an artist, you're whoever, then you have still sometimes a manager, content creators, artists, actors, people, they have managers, they have someone still who is like, okay, let me guide you in this, a little more freedom, arguably. And even more above that, looking at our society, we have the government, we have, all of these rules we have to follow within our government. We have to pay taxes, we have to pay health insurance, we have to pay to live, to pay, we live in a house, we have to have utilities, we have to have all of these things. We have to report to our society's regulations of laws, essentially. We have still something that we have to follow. So that exists here in the US. Again, this is where my reality is limited, and this is sort of the this is a cap here for me, is seeing this as my reality. I don't know what else is out there. Other countries are structured differently, but just having that realization is big. Like, okay, I understand that this is the society that I live in. This is where the top is, and I have what rules I have to follow. And I also understand that this is not the only system. The way that I see the world, the way that I go to the store, when I go out, when I do these things, that is only one version of reality. And also, and this is key here too, the way that I perceive this is not the way that someone else perceives this. So the way that I perceive everything I just explained is not the way that anyone else perceives it. Sure, there are common understandings. We can probably agree that we live in a society, we pay taxes, we have laws, we have rules, we go to school, we have those things. But how exactly I perceive it and what that means and my place within that is something that only I can know. And each of us, that's true for each of us, that it's something that only we can know, the way that we perceive our reality and our thoughts, our background, or everything that we are that has led us to this point in time allows us to make this perception about our reality. And this determines how we interact with other people. And this is why I believe people struggle to communicate, to share their views and their ideas, because we each have these different perspectives, and sometimes we don't realize that this is only one perspective. And because to us it seems like, oh yeah, this is what it is, like this is what I know, this is what I've experienced, this is true to me. And it's important to pull ourselves outside of that and realize that that is true, that my perspective is one perspective. It's not necessarily right or wrong. It's just a perspective. It's just a perception of reality based on my thoughts. All right, so if you are still with me here until the end, let me know what you think. And I'll read those down below, and I'll be responding to you guys in the comments. And make sure, okay, there's a blog post as well. You guys can check that out. And there'll be more posts, more videos, more coming your way. Bye guys.